So I wanted to show you today how to actually fill out a deposit slip. Now, a deposit slip is generally found in the back of your checkbook. So I actually have my checkbook here. We've got my Disney princess checks because I have two small girls at home. But at the back of that, once you get to the last half dozen pages or so, you have what's called a deposit slip. Now, the deposit slip is information that you have to fill out for the bank so they know how much money to put into your account. They do verify this, so you can't just make up whatever you want and then magically put that money in your account. But I wanted you guys to actually see what a real deposit slip looks like. Now, the ones I have in your assignment are kind of some dummy deposit slips that I found on the internet that you can fill out. But there's some kind of a lot of information contained on one little piece of paper. So there's my name, my wife's name, and our address, Marion, Illinois, street address I blacked out for obvious reasons. And then you have the date that you would fill in for whatever date you're making your deposit. This next line here, it says sign here if cash received from deposit. So if you're making your deposit, you're putting money in the bank, but you need some cash back, there's a whole separate line that you fill out over here and you have to sign the deposit slip. If all you're doing is putting money in the account, you do not have to sign these. Okay. My deposit slips, because they're from my checkbook, they are printed down here at the bottom with what's called my routing number and my actual account number after that. Now, the routing number is unique to my bank. So I bank at First Southern Bank. Every single First Southern Bank, whether it's, there's 4 or 5 different branches in Marion, they all have the same routing number. So I can go to, one on Court Street, or I could go to whichever one, they're all the same routing number. My unique identifier, what puts money in my account, is my account number. Okay. I'm not entirely sure what these last 3 digits out here are. On a check, they stand for something, but on a deposit slip, I don't know if that's part of my account number or what. But so this is basically what a deposit slip looks like. This top line over here is where you write down how much cash, actual dollar bills and coins, that you've counted out that you're trying to deposit. And then underneath that, you have 3 different spaces where you can list checks if you have some checks to deposit. And then you're going to add all that up to go here. It's called the subtotal. That is basically how much you're going to deposit before you subtract out any money you might want back. Okay, and we'll go through that with an actual example. And then if you've taken money out, you're going to subtract that off in your bottom line here as your actual deposit amount. Okay, so if you notice like all these little squares and lines and stuff, that's to kind of separate your digits so it doesn't all run together. The last 2 boxes out here for your cents, and then everything before that would be for your actual dollars, and then out here would be where you write your cents. So like I said, this is an actual deposit slip. They might look different from bank to bank, but for the most part, it's the same information contained on each one. Now, if you run out, like if you make a whole bunch of deposits and you run out of deposit slips, you can go to the bank and get just a blank deposit slip, which is pretty much what this is down here. Now, those do not have your account number on it. So the examples that we're going to do, the people don't actually have account numbers, but we're going to assume that, if this person was making a deposit, they would have an actual deposit slip for their account. So we're not too worried about their account number. You could make something up if you wanted to, but so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of assume that these are pre-printed, right? Like the ones that are in my checkbook. So this is the exact same scenario as yesterday, but we're going to look at the whole thing instead of just the cash. So I'm going to put in the date. Today's the 21st. So Manuel's depositing his money on the 21st. His name, you're depositing into his account. Manuel Romero. Oh, Romeo, not Romero. On your homework, I have these set up as text boxes, so you're not going to have to actually write. You'll just have to copy some information over. So what we did yesterday, Manuel is depositing $87.39 in cash. So I put the dollars in the the left-hand column, and the cents in the right-hand column. His checks, you're going to list those separately. So he has a check for $435.20. He has a check for $271.19, and he has a check for $327.96. So what you're going to need to do is go add all of those up. So you're going to add up all four of those, his cash and his three separate checks. I have a grand total of $1,121.74. Now, if he didn't want any money back, that subtotal amount I would just carry down into the total amount. But Manuel wants $75 back. So this, it says less cash. That means less. You're going to subtract off how much cash he wants back. Now, realistically, what I do, if I want cash back, I just take it out of the cash up here and I deposit less cash. But for the sake of argument on this, we're going to subtract off his $75. So that changes his deposit to $1,046.74. That's what I'm looking for right there. So start with the cash, list any checks, add all of those up into the subtotal. Okay? Once you have your subtotal, you subtract off any cash they want back. He wants to leave with $75, so they're going to give him that back. You subtract that off, and that's the total deposit. All right, jumping ahead, do one more real quick. Whoops. All right, Emily Anderson, yada, yada, yada. So the date, we're going to go with the same date. Just use today's date on any of these. Name, same. Emily Anderson. All right, and I'm not going to worry about the account number. So go through, same deal, count up all of her cash. Add all that up, $1,360.30. And then she wants $40 cash back from that. So I'm going to put that down here, less cash. That lets the teller know how much money they need to give you back. Otherwise, they're just going to give you a receipt for your transaction. So $40 back. So your total deposit is $1,320.30.